Well, these are the visuals, viewers, of some of the Iranian missiles making direct impact in parts of Israel, like we were mentioning a few moments back. Some of these missiles, which escaped Iron Dome's counter missiles, have directly impacted central and southern parts of Israel, is what we're getting to understand. The Israeli military has now issued a statement saying that some of these missiles have hit the central regions as well. So now there you can see in the visuals, you can also hear sirens being sounded across Israel. People are now moving to safe bunkers. Krutat, if you could take us through what's happening.
Indeed, Deepak, and these are the fresh visuals that we are getting in from Jerusalem and from different parts of Israel, where we can clearly see that there has been a massive barrage of rockets. Now, what the IDF statement so far reads is that this is a very routine procedure, and these are not high-intensity impacts of the rockets by themselves, but these are interception blasts that are taking place close to the ground, and we are also seeing that some of the rockets which are deflected eventually to the ground are also creating a lot of impact. However, so far we do not have any official confirmation on the death toll. However, the visuals are indeed quite dramatic, and the Iron Dome defense system is in complete overhaul mode at the moment. We also have the information from the United States that President Biden has given a clear go-ahead to the US Navy in the Red Sea to have interception strikes and help Israel defend itself. So clearly there are indications that perhaps the Iron Dome system could be at the possibility of overwhelming. At the same time, this missile barrage strike is not as big as it was the last time. So far, the information that we have is about 150 rockets have been fired towards Israel. However, this information is live and updating. So more inputs from ground zero will eventually tell us what is the exact number of rockets that have been launched so far. But clearly, the Iron Dome defense system is facing some amount of difficulty. But IDF clearly maintains that these are not precision strikes that are actually landing in, but these are interceptions that are happening, Deepak.
Right, Krutat, like you were mentioning, Iron Dome, the air defense system, is currently overwhelmed because the scale of attack is unexpected. Hundreds of missiles have been fired. Some of them were neutralized, but the others have definitely impacted some parts of Israel. As you can see on your screens, viewers, these are some of Iranian missiles impacting some of the areas in Israel. And now, to aid Israel in its defense against Iranian missiles, the US has also stepped in. Shawan, where do you expect this situation to go from now?
Well, in fact, these are the latest images now coming in. This is an Iranian ballistic missile which has landed in some part of Israel. We'll just try and get you the exact details of where it has actually landed, because a short while back, now let me just tell you, this is a claim, Deepak, that has been made by the Iranians. In fact, some report coming on Iranian news networks that there have been a direct hit in Negev, Sharon and other locations after the attack that has taken place. But important to point out here, Israelis are yet to confirm whether at all there have been any direct hits. Undoubtedly, when you're looking at least about over 200 missiles, at least two Israeli officials have indicated that 200 missiles have already been launched. It is unprecedented to begin with. But having said that, if you see the capacity of the Iron Dome itself, it can very well manage to a greater extent. But having said that, there could be some interceptions which may have failed, resulting in some of the missiles that are landing and of course the direct hits that we're talking about. Just a quick recap of what we know so far. Deepak, for all our viewers who are tuning in, this is a massive escalation in the Middle East right now, with Iran retaliating. Once again, this is the first direct attack by the Iranians right now. I'm told that we have a reporter on the ground. We'll try and see if we can. Major Samarpal Tur is joining us on this broadcast. Before I bring in Major Samarpal Tur, Major, just allow me to just quickly update all our viewers with regards to all the latest coming in. Deepak, if you could also join me taking our viewers through the latest. Number one, in terms of the interception that has taken place, we're being told that there have been certain hits, but these are claims that have been made by the Iranians. No official word really coming in from the Israelis at this point in time. There is another report that is coming in right now that Iranians haven't really fired another set of missiles as of now. So it does appear that the situation may have been brought under control right now. Sirens are blaring in most parts of Israel. These are the latest images now coming in from Jerusalem. Now that's the other shocking aspect of this entire war, because the Iranians, it appears, have also targeted Jerusalem. However, having said that, these are not guided missiles that we're really looking at. But having said that, you have the holy site of Jerusalem that has also come under attack. The Israeli Defense Forces also indicating that their jets are on standby. So there is an indication that Israelis aren't going to really lie low at this point in time. This is going to see some sort of a ramification, some sort of a retaliation really coming in from the Israelis at this point in time. But the US too, Deepak, has indicated that there is no doubt that the Israelis are going to retaliate.
And in fact, reports have also said that Israel has issued another statement saying that their plans for Iran is ready and they will strike when they decide to. So probably, Shaban, this attack by Iran, which comes 5 months after the strikes on Israel in April, probably those strikes which were completely thwarted by the Israeli defense systems was just a test to probably check on Israel's defense capabilities. And 5 months later...
Sorry to interrupt you, Deepak. I'm told that spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Alex Gandler, is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Gandler, thank you very much for joining us. We do understand that this is a grim situation right now in Israel. First, give us a sense of what's really happening right now. Have the missiles been intercepted? What's the current situation?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. It's a grim night. Most of the missiles that have been shot at Israel have been intercepted by our air defense. You probably saw some pictures or videos of missiles that did hit Israel. We're still assessing the damage. Most likely it was directed at air bases of the Israeli Air Force. We know of one casualty in Jericho, a resident of the Gaza Strip that illegally crossed into Jericho was killed by one of the missiles.
Mr. Gandler, if you could just also help us understand, because some of the Iranian news networks they made a claim that there have been direct hits in Negev, Sharon, and a few other places. Is that true?
I know there were some hits. I don't think I can elaborate more regarding where exactly the hits were. I'm still assessing it myself. Up until 20 minutes ago, I was in my safe room in the bomb shelter alongside my neighbors here next to my apartment. So there's still a lot to assess and understand. Obviously, I know you're also showing some of the hits, but most of the missiles or rockets were intercepted by different air defense systems of Israel and coalition.
Mr. Gandler, would it be appropriate to say that perhaps after the second wave of missiles that were launched, the situation now has been brought under control, or do you all suspect that there could be another wave of missiles being launched from northern Iran?
It's very possible that we will have another launch, but at the moment we think that everything is under control. Israeli airspace is open. People are walking the streets. We have been given an order that we can exit the bomb shelters. So life has returned to a normality. I can tell you that about 10 minutes ago, I was walking my dog because he needed a walk. It is something that Iran, no matter how hard they try, will not stop us from living our normal life. So at the moment, we're under control. This was an unprovoked and an extremely dangerous escalation by Iran. We are sure to have a proper response as well.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about the fact, Mr. Gandler, that this is a major escalation in West Asia at this point in time. But how does Israel really look into this entire matter? Because as we understand, this may not have been unexpected. The retaliation, or if I may say, the first response really coming in from Iran, that was on the expected lines.
I don't know what retaliation for. We have not attacked Iran. If Iran is attacking us because we're trying to defend our borders in the north and in the south, and by them attacking us from the south with the Houthis, and from the north with Hezbollah, and from the east with Qatar Hezbollah, and from the west with Hamas, we are surrounded by Iranian proxies who are attacking us. We are trying to defend our citizens and defend this land. Iran is the aggressor. Iran is the destabilizer in this region, not only in Israel, but across the Middle East. Hence the coalition that is built in order to protect Israel from its aggression. This is another act of aggression by Iran. This is not a retaliation. They can frame it as much as they want. At the end of the day, we are a very small nation. We're surrounded by enemies that are paid for by Iran. So this is for us a war against their proxies and against their trying to dominate this part of the world.
Mr. Gandler, could you also give us a sense of what's the situation in the other parts of Israel? Because as I understand that a short while back, the IDF indicated that sirens were blaring across Israel. Has the situation now normalized?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in Jerusalem. We had sirens here. Of course, the rockets came from the east, from Iran. So they flew over Jerusalem. Probably you saw pictures of them flying over the Al-Aqsa Mosque and all parts of Jerusalem, and flew towards the west, trying to hit central areas. If you look at a map of Israel, and we have these maps where you can see where the sirens are blowing off, you could see that all of Israel was under sirens. The reason for that is while the ballistic trajectory of the missile is coming, the air defenses are calculating where it's going to hit, and in order to protect civilians, we're asking everyone to step into shelter until we realize exactly where it's going to hit. There's a calculation for that. So all of Israel was under sirens, but the missiles hit in very specific spots. I'm not sure exactly where at the moment. As I said, we're still assessing.
Is there any preliminary assessment that your ministry has made with regards to the attack that has taken place? Any casualties that have been reported so far?
So one casualty, as I said, a citizen or a resident of Gaza that was in Jericho. I know that he was killed from an Iranian rocket, a Palestinian that was killed by Iranian rocket. And as to Israeli citizens, we still don't have any assessment regarding that. Maybe a few injured at the moment. The assessment says no killed.
Mr. Gandler, in terms of this response from the Iranians, makes it abundantly clear that they have come out in full support of an organization which has terrorist activities written by their name. And the fact that today there are some reports also now coming in, Mr. Gandler, that the Russians perhaps were aware that Tehran was planning to carry out this attack.
I'm not aware regarding your last statement, but I can tell you that Iran, that created Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a proxy that is not only funded by Iran, it is also led, instructed, and was created by Iran as part of its revolutionary ideology in order to promote radical Shiite Islamism on the world. So it's not coming to the help of some unknown entity. It is coming for the help, and let me do air quotes, for the help of its own creation, because it understands that Israel is now aiming to distance it from our northern border in order for them not to have the opportunity to attack Israeli citizens. So the fact that we're attacking Hezbollah, we're not attacking the state of Lebanon, we're attacking Hezbollah. Because we're attacking them, Iran is getting scared. And because they're getting scared, they're doing extreme deeds. This is one of them.
In terms of this question that has been asked many a times, that is there some sort of an end game? The military objectives of the war when it began was to basically decapitate the capabilities of the Hamas, and perhaps now with the Hezbollah, with the eliminations that we have essentially seen. Is Israel really looking at some sort of an end game?
Absolutely, and we have it. We're stating it very clearly. We want the return of all our hostages from Gaza, the eradication of Hamas completely from the Gaza Strip, and we want Resolution 1701 of the United Nations Security Council implemented in Lebanon. So Hezbollah forces will be stationed north of the Litani River. It is very clear for us what we need to do. We need to return our citizens back to the north, those 60 to 100,000 Israelis who were displaced in the beginning of this war almost a year ago. So those are our goals in the south: eradicate Hamas and bring back our 101 hostages that are seen being kept there, and drive back Hezbollah over the Litani as part of Resolution 1701 in order to bring our citizens back to the north.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Gandler, for joining us on this broadcast. We pray that you and the citizens of Israel remain safe in this grim moment as Israel faces a rain of missiles that have been fired from Iran. A developing situation now taking place in West Asia, Deepak, as we see some sort of a celebratory firing also taking place in Beirut and in Gaza. This was perhaps on the expected lines, but having said that, a confirmation now coming in from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Israel that at least 2 waves of missiles that were launched from Iran